Friends, I've been so busy telling you about my new Angels and Awakening book that came out on November 11th that I forgot to share with you that we have a new course starting December 1st. It's a 4-week course called Deepening Your Connection with Your Loved Ones in Heaven. This course is already included if you're an Angel member. If you're not an Angel member, you can buy the course on theangelmedium.com. I also wanted to let you know if you're looking to become an Angel member, January or February are the best months to start. For a limited time, if you get 2 new people to sign up for the Angel membership annual plan, then I'll give you an entire year of the Angel membership for free. When you do, you'll also be guaranteed to be able to book a session with me in 2022. Friends, due to the voice disorder, the number of sessions I can do is limited. But the first 100 people who sign up for the Angel Membership Annual Plan, which, to be transparent, costs $1,200 for the whole year, I'm going to guarantee you the ability to book a session with me in 2022. And right now, friends, it's looking like those may be the only sessions I'll be able to fulfill next year. You can always book a session on my website with one of the incredible healers I've trained who are now on my team. There's Karen, Erika, Adria, Kara, and Cheryl, and their gifts are all a lot like mine. Friends, you are my angels. If you're looking for a great gift idea this holiday season, my book is in stock and ready to ship from Barnes & Noble and worldwide from Amazon. Write a positive review about the book or share it on your Instagram feed and we'll enter you into a drawing to win a free session with me. This month's winner is Autumn Grimes, who did a whole video about the book. Thank you, Autumn. Lastly, Archangel Haniel reminds you that a new class of the Angel Reiki School begins December 1st. And if she's been calling you to take the course, it's for a reason. Let her and I coach you to become the healer you were born to be. Friends, today Erika is interviewing Karen about all of her angel stories. I know you're going to love them. Now let's dive into the show.
Hi.
Hey, hi. I'm good, Erica. How are you?
I am so excited, first of all, to have met you because your energy is just infectious. And whenever I'm like just in a weird place, I always get cheered up. I do love
So happy. I'm so happy.
to have met you. And I am very curious to ask you questions today about your angel stories. And especially, I want to start with like your spiritual awakening and how this all came about for you. Because I don't know, and I know everybody else doesn't.
Okay, perfect. So my awakening, and yours might be similar because I know that you were like raised kind of in the spiritual world. My awakening was gradual. I think like there's this myth that people have this like this one huge awakening, right? Yeah.
I'm looking at a near-death experience.
Yeah, exactly. And I think some people really do. But I just wanted to put that out there so everyone realizes that it's not always going to be like this, like slap you in the face,
Right.
huge awakening. And I'm guessing like for you, since you were raised spiritual, it's probably, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and an awakening is really just remembering your true essence, right? Like that's what it is.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
so,
I heard it said so eloquently once that when we're born, it's like the veil goes up, like so like it's all about remembrance. Like when you become
yes.
and that's your spiritual awakening. It could be like one major thing, or it could just be like you're slowly
remembering, right? Yeah, that's kind of like the whole point, right?
Yes,
that's the journey.
right.
Yeah,
You need to remember on your own and not just automatically know, because then you come here.
Because then it's boring, right? Yeah, well, yeah. So for me, it's really been this gradual process where I have like these ongoing awakenings. I mean, I think it's always a process. It's a life process. You know, I think once you're actually completely awakened, you probably die. Right. Because the journey's done.
Do you kind of remember like I know you were young, but like a something that stuck out that was like more than normal that started you
Yes,
like
yes. So actually, my process started in 2017, and it started because I was incredibly unhappy. So I got to this place in my life where I had every reason to be happy, right? Like I had this amazing husband and he had this amazing career and we had plenty of money and I had three gorgeous kids and I just realized that I was really, really unhappy. And I couldn't tell you exactly why I was unhappy. And I realized 2017, because before, like, we'd be overseas and I was like, oh, but I'm unhappy because I'm away from family and
right.
friends. And then when I go home in the summer, then I'm happy. And so I thought that that's why I was unhappy. I had
See, this was once this is done, then it's
then
good.
I'll be happy, right. And 2017 was the first time I really realized, like, oh, wait, I'm not happy in America. I'm not happy in Germany. I'm just not happy. And so I started working with this amazing spiritual healer. And so my awakening really came from an insane amount of inner child work, which is
She guided you. This is in Germany.
she's in America, but
Oh,
I'm in Germany. Yeah. And
you were okay working with her and
working with her.
doing some spiritual work, and your inner child was giving you.
Yes, it was a lot of inner child healing, which is crazy because I know Julie just started this
I
inner
know.
child class. Yeah.
Wow.
Which I believe there's
Uh,
never enough inner child.
I'm doing, man. I can't wait because that's a lifelong thing.
It is a lifelong thing. I'm also doing it after I've done 4 years
Oh,
of inner child
I'm
work.
excited.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, I was like, yep, I'm doing it again.
Yep.
So, and just to like kind of talk about my take on inner child work, you know, we get but like we said, we forget our true nature, like
Yeah.
when you're born, you forget your true nature, you forget your purity. And as we go through life and we have these painful events happen to us, in a way to protect ourselves, it's almost like we put on a layer, right? Like we want to ensure like this doesn't happen again. So we put on a layer. And the suffering comes because eventually we end up identifying with the layers
Yes, exactly.
and not the actual essence of who we are,
Yes.
you know? And we forget that actually at our core, we are all love and light. But
Yes.
instead, we've identified with these layers that we put on for protection. And, the ego gets such a bad rap. And it's something that so often, people say, like, oh, you have to transcend the ego, you have to overcome the ego. And I really don't like that view as much because it puts the ego as something that's separate than you
Right.
you.
That's
And
right.
and actually the ego, I mean, it's part of you, right? And so I like to take a
Yeah.
more a loving approach and look at the ego as, the ego protected you at a time when you weren't able to actually handle that pain or look at that pain, right?
That's a good point. Yes.
So like you had this painful thing happen and you had to exist. You had to survive. And at that time, you weren't at a place where you could look at that pain. And so that's the ego's job, like to help you put on a layer so that you can get through life and you can keep going. And what I discovered through inner child work is that now, years later, when I am at a place where I can handle that pain, I can
Yeah.
go back and actually heal that core wound.
Right. So obviously the ego, like you said, as human, we have to have ego because it's like it protects us, right?
Right.
Like fight or flight. But it makes you feel you have to be safe and
Right.
protect.
Right.
But then you're saying that once you dug deep and you realized that you were ready to like go there and do
Yeah.
healing, that it opens you up to like all of like, how did you know that? Did you see other sides of what you had been through as a child? Like, how did that progress into like, oh my God, there's so much more?
There's so much more. I think you start by looking at the layer, looking at the thing you don't like.
Right.
And then kind of digging and seeing like, okay, but like, where did that come from? And also having grace and forgiveness for yourself. Like, oh, well, that was a defense mechanism. I have that property. That's maybe that thing about me that I don't like because that's what allowed me to function at that time,
Okay.
and
Yes. So you were going through different layers of yourself, and each time you would like heal or come to terms with that, you would feel that you were shedding that, right?
yeah, exactly. Shedding that layer and removing them through healing the original trauma.
Right. And then that's so fascinating because then how I guess what I'm trying to ask is how, so after you started probably feeling really lighter and like happier, and then did you just say like I'm so grateful that like I'm doing this work, like I know there's so much more because I'm seeing that it's only love like at the core. Like you're
Yeah,
intrigued you about yeah, like after you started doing, which I'm sure you still do that hard work, it's hard work.
that's hard.
Yeah. Like when, or shall I say, what fascinated you on the path? Like, was it specifically angels or that there is life after this world? Or what was it that was like, that's really fascinating? Like,
That's really it was honestly, it was an issue with my husband, right?
okay.
So my husband travels a lot. And Julie mentions in her first video with the inner child work that it's important to go through and do this with a therapist. And I could not agree more because you are like unearthing this like deep pain, and it's not something you want to do on your own. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I was really glad when she said that in the first video because I was like, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
You're vulnerable and then you're just left with yourself, right?
Exactly. And you need like a buffer to help you
Good.
talk through that stuff and work through that stuff. But my husband, he travels a lot.
Mhm.
He plays basketball overseas and he travels a lot. And so I'm overseas and I was getting to this point where I was very resentful. Like, oh, but I'm the one that's always here having to figure everything out. And I'm the one, the whole victim story, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Totally.
so my spiritual advisor, she asked me one time, she was like, can you be happy when Ricky's not home? And when she asked me that, I was like, well, yeah, I think I can or whatever. And then the next day I was out running and it hit me like, oh, I can't be happy when Ricky's not home because if I'm happy when he's not here, then he might not feel guilty that he's gone.
Okay.
And then I can't be a martyr.
Right. So
And
right.
yeah, so I had created this entire situation because a martyr is someone that's worthy of love, right? So, like, in my head, like, I needed to first be a victim, then be a martyr because a martyr is worthy of love. And then through that work, I realized that I had this core, you know, pain that from childhood where a martyr's worthy of love. Like I wasn't worthy as just because I existed. I needed to create this scenario to be worthy of love. And so like that's kind of example of
Right.
how and that was my first probably like awakening, like aha moment, like, oh, I've been setting him up all these years.
Because you felt like if you were happy, like when he was gone, it was easier to go into that, like, why am I doing all this? Like, and why am I stuck with the person? But
Exactly. And like, look how strong I am
right.
for coming all these difficult
Right.
things. Like, look
Yeah.
at the sacrifices I'm making so he can have this amazing career. Like this whole
Yeah.
thing.
Right.
Oh,
Oh,
that's narrative
yeah.
that I
So
had.
then okay. So then how did that shift for you? Like you were like, I can be, like, I
Yeah. So then I had to go back and look at like, okay, well, where is this coming from? Why do I think I have to be a martyr in order
right.
to be worthy of love? And really had to go back into honestly ancestral wounds that you inherit,
Yeah.
you know, and do all of that work. And like Julie is so right. Ancestral wounds and inner child work
Oh,
is so intertwined.
Yeah.
You really can't separate it. And
Uh,
so, it's like some things you inherit, some things you occur through painful things that have happened to you, and you really can't separate them. And
right.
so
Of course.
going through and doing the work. And so it's been like this aha moments like this, where you make these internal shifts and it allows for so much growth and forgiveness then with my husband, like in this situation. And I recognize like, oh, Kara, you're starting the victim story again. Like I catch myself now.
Right. Oh man, that is a lot crammed into like 2017 is not long ago.
No, it's been so much growth since then.
Oh my gosh. And then when you worked on all of that, and then you tell me about like, let's say, not like a supernatural experience, but things started probably happening, right? Like you
Yes.
started noticing synchronicities or like
Yes.
I wonder what did that like unfold like for you?
Yes.
After, yeah. That,
Okay. So crazy. Prior to 2017. So in 2012, my uncle passed away unexpectedly.
oh, when
We were close. I was in Germany and he was in Missouri, and we were very close. So I don't have,
known, or is that so?
so it was sudden
Oh,
heart attack, completely. We were shocked.
oh
It was
my god.
it was hard. And I don't have a relationship with my dad,
Mhm.
working on it. Inner child ancestry.
Right.
That is still a work in progress.
Yeah.
But I was very, very close to my grandfather, and I was very close to my uncle. Like those were kind of the safe men in my life. And my uncle, he didn't have any kids. He was never married. And so we would do like date nights, all through high school. And then
Oh,
I would go visit. I mean, we were close.
he was like your dad, your father figure.
He was a father figure. Yeah, yeah.
Something
And
for you.
yeah, it was. It was really hard. And so it was the night after the Super Bowl, I remember, because we had stayed up super late here in Germany to watch the Super Bowl. And then I went to sleep. And then I had this dream while I was sleeping that we were all at my uncle's funeral. And I was like, we had been to his funeral, and then we were at my grandparents' house afterwards. And I was just like devastated. And I woke up and I remember feeling just so heavy and upset by the dream. And so I went and I actually emailed my uncle just to tell him how much I missed him. And I mean, this was probably like 5 a.m. here, just to say, oh, I miss you, and just emailed him. And then I went about my day. And then in the evening here. So it was like late morning in Missouri. I didn't think anything else about it. And then my mom called me, and she was bawling, and she was like, they just found Tommy and he passed away. Like he hadn't gone to work. And so they sent a wellness check out, and he had like a massive heart attack and died. And
So you died at the time that
the
you,
exact time I had the dream,
oh my god.
exact time I had the dream. And I thought like, this is crazy. And it freaked me out a little bit. I'd had dreams with my grandfather before. My grandfather passed in 2009, and we were insanely close. And he had come to me in my dreams before, and I always like paid attention when he was in my dream, because it was always like kind of something spiritual. And then this happened, and honestly, it freaked me out, and I didn't quite know what to do with it. And so before my mom called me, actually, that day that he had passed, I was talking to my grandma on the phone. So this would have been his
His mom.
mom.
Okay.
And so I was talking to my grandma on the phone, and these two birds came and landed on the branch right outside my window. And I was talking to her, and they were over here they're called great tits, which is actually hilarious because of my grandpa's sense of humor. Like it is really funny, but they look like little finches, kind of like they're tiny.
Okay. Yeah.
And And so it's funny because my grandma asked me the same thing and I was describing them to her and she was like, "Oh, what do they look like?" Because I was like, "Oh my goodness, these two birds just flew up and sat on this branch right outside my window." And she's like, "What do they look like?" And I was describing them to her and she loves birds and, like back there. So we're talking about that. And then I didn't think anything about it. And then my mom called me. And so then I was so distraught. And on the way to the airport the next morning, because, now I have to fly back from Germany for the
Yeah.
funeral and all this stuff. And so on the way to the airport the next morning, all of a sudden I just had this thought like, oh my God, like those two birds, like that was my grandpa and my uncle, like
Of
letting me know. And of course, they came when I was talking to my grandma.
course.
Yeah, like letting me know all was good, everything's okay.
They were related. That was his dad.
That was his dad and his,
Okay.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
Oh,
so that
peace
I'm
probably.
so much peace. Yeah, so much peace. And my grandma as well. And so
Great.
after that, like I always knew I was kind of a safe haven for people, if that makes sense. Like people would always just kind of confess to me, like just like tell me their fears and their stresses and their worries. Like right after I met them, it was almost like I was like this safe place where people could kind of unload and release. And so I knew that I was an empath and I could feel what people were going through and I could really feel if people are upset. But then after my uncle died, I started thinking maybe there's something more here that, but it scared me. So
Right. So did you believe in life after, like, what was your
Mhm. I believed in life after death. Absolutely. I didn't know. I was very intrigued by mediumship, but I didn't know how that lined up. I was raised very Christian.
Oh, okay.
Very Christian. And so I was raised like, well, you don't even explore that stuff.
Right.
Like it was very, and
Work.
yes, yes, it was very much like, yeah, that's dangerous stuff. You don't look at that
Right.
stuff, but it always intrigued me. And actually, what opened me then is I started talking to Anna, my spiritual healer, who used to be the preacher at our church. She was the
Oh,
pastor at our church. And so she was so key in my journey in that I was like, "Oh, but wait, she's safe." Like she's someone I trust
mm,
and she's a pastor and I don't know anyone more holy than her, but she also does tarot cards and she also yes, it was permission. Exactly. It was permission. Like, oh, well, this is okay then. And she talks about spirits and energies and mediumship and tarot cards and all of this stuff, but is also can tell you the Bible inside and outside. So it was like this key component
mhm.
of safety and permission that
Yeah.
allowed me to kind of get curious and
Yeah.
explore, but I was still scared of spirits. Like I remember saying like, "Anna, I can't turn around and have a spirit just staring at me like that."
That was and you could say however you feel comfortable, right? Did she tell you that?
Yes, and that's what she was like, "Well, if that scares you, that's not what's gonna happen, Kara. Like spirit never wants to scare you. Never. Like spirit will
Right.
never come to you in a way that's causes you to have fear or causes you to be afraid." And so then I was like, "Oh," she's like, "So if turning around and seeing an energy is gonna freak you out, then spirit's not gonna talk to you that way."
Right.
And I was like, "Okay, okay." And then I took this intuition class.
Uh-huh.
And the teacher of the intuition class was like, "What if you just get playful? What if you just have like a curious energy? Like, what if you just try and connect with someone that you feel is safe, someone from your family,
Right.
and see if anything comes through?"
Right. Oh, yeah.
And so I was like, "Okay, I can do that." And so that's what I did. And my grandpa came through and I was doing automatic
Meditation?
and meditation and I was doing automatic writing before I knew it was called automatic writing. My grandpa came through and my great grandma came through. And I was like, "Oh, well that wasn't scary at at all."
Wrote you knew that it was like you just knew.
Yes, I just knew like I could
think
feel the energy and that's what what's crazy is that I can, and I don't know if it's the same for you, but it's like it's your own thoughts, but it's not your thoughts. Does that make sense? Like you're like
Yeah.
it's coming to you through in your head like it would be your thoughts, but you're not thinking this.
Right. They're borrowing your brain.
Your brain. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I
I
didn't
know.
see them visually,
No,
obviously.
yeah.
But I'm just like, yeah. And I knew because my great grandma was actually, me and my mom were kind of going through something at the moment. And she was coming through on my mom's behalf, almost like getting on to me, like showing me things from my mom's side and telling me to have patience. And that's how I knew, like, oh,
Yeah.
these aren't my thoughts.
Because how could you put yourself in your mom?
Yeah, and I would have been like, "Oh, you're right. She's wrong." If it was my own thoughts, I wouldn't
Right.
have been getting on to myself. I would have been like
Yeah.
totally supporting my side of the
Of
story.
course. Oh, wow. So that was
Yeah.
a aha moment, right? Because
Yeah, it's like another awakening.
yes.
It's really been like just like this series of small awakenings. So then cut to I hear Julie's podcast. And like I said before to Julie, I knew nothing about Julie. I was looking for a new podcast. I found hers. I was like, oh, this
Say like angels or something.
yeah, exactly. I had searched like angels or
Right.
something like that. And her podcast came up and I was like, oh, well, this looks interesting. And I listened to one. I don't remember I think the first one I listened to was somebody's angel story.
Uh-huh.
And then the second one I listened to was a woman talking about the Angel Reiki school. And I just had this knowing that was like, yeah, you're doing that.
Uh-huh.
Like I had zero expectations
Uh,
and I was just like, yeah, I'm doing the Angel Reiki school.
Wow.
And so I emailed her and one was starting like the next day or 2 days later. Of course,
Uh-huh.
how it works.
Yeah.
And I ended up crazy, which this never happens. I ended up literally getting a check in the mail for the
Uh,
exact amount.
Oh my God. I know. I can't believe. I mean, I do believe it, but
Right, but it's crazy.
yeah. So your angels or spirit guides, they communicate with you a lot through like physical stuff, right?
Yeah, a lot.
Or
Yeah, like angel numbers or like
calls happening, or yeah, like
yeah, or feelings. Where you just like know, or my body talks to me a lot. My body is really my superpower. Like even if I have like an ache or a pain, if I look up like spiritual meaning behind
okay.
that, it's always right on point. And
Wow.
yeah,
So your physical.
very physical. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And so I just had this knowing
Yeah.
and I did the angel Reiki school and honestly, Julie blew me away. Like I had no expectations, but she has far in every stage, she has far exceeded my on like the amount of information she gives you
I know.
in the angel Reiki school, it blew my mind. It was far
Oh, she
beyond.
opens up your spiritual gift. She teaches you.
She teaches you. Yeah. And she does it in such a way where you really figure out how spirit communicates with you
Yeah.
individually. That's
Yeah.
what I love. It's like this opening invitation where it's you figure out for yourself. It's not like, oh, well, this is what it's going to look like,
Right.
you
And
know.
what do you think while you were in the course, what right away came through for you that was like a strong.
So in my first attunement
Mhm.
in the course, my uncle came through and he
Oh,
said, I showed you had this gift when I passed away, and now you're finally ready for it. Is that I know. I was like,
like, I'm like, oh man, you're in wow, that
ah,
came through right.
that came through right away. And it was like full circle, right? Like, oh yeah, he did show me I had that gift. But in 2012, there's
Right,
no way I would have been ready
right.
to use that until I did all that inner child work.
Course.
Like I would not have, I was still so fear based then. I was still And a lot of often that comes through in my sessions. I don't know if it does with you with clients where it's like you have to heal first.
Yes. Yes. There's a quote, the healer has to heal before you could heal others. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
right. And you
yeah,
can't heal others if you don't heal within as well.
as well. Yeah, yeah. And so it
But
was like I wasn't ready then, and then I finally was ready once I had done the hard work.
the hard
Uh,
work.
and I mean, it is hard, but
Yeah.
it's so
Rewarding,
worth
right?
it. Oh, it's so rewarding. It's so rewarding.
Now tell us some really cool angel stories or
Yeah.
really
So,
cool stories that have happened to you since.
yes.
Or
So,
I don't know.
yeah, right. So that was amazing when my uncle came through and the
Both
attunement.
times. I
Yes,
mean,
true,
yeah,
both times.
that
And then it's crazy because my oldest son, I can see that he also has this gift. I know that my grandpa, especially when he was very little, my grandpa would kind of talk through him to me as well. But he probably about 6 months after my uncle passed away, my oldest son was 5 at the time, and he drew this picture, and he came up and he's like, "Here, mom, I drew this picture." And it was a picture of the 2 birds, which I had never told him about. A picture of the 2 birds with a heart in the middle and a smiley face winking.
oh my God. Did you save that?
Yeah, I still have it. I still
I would frame it.
Yes, yes. It just
Did you say like, whoa, like how did you think of
it
it?
was
Like
I was shocked. And I was like,
what made you think of
"Yeah."
that?
I was like, "What made you?" He was like, "I don't know. I just thought you would like it."
Oh my God. That blew out.
My mind.
That is
Blew my mind.
great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
And it was always another time he drew. Oh, here, I have the picture.
Oh,
Show you.
let me see.
I have the picture. I have the 2 pictures he drew me. So here's the
He was
bird.
like, oh my gosh. I know the wink. Oh my God.
Yeah, the wink, right?
Did he do that? Was that something he would make like a wink or that was like,
No, this was not. Yeah.
I've never seen my kids do a wink. Like,
No, that was not. And my kid, and he doesn't like to draw. Like, it's not like he was always drawing, you know?
oh, wow.
Yeah. It's
Oh,
crazy. And these are the colors of the birds and everything. I don't know if you can tell, but it's
me.
like
Oh, yeah.
yellow and gray.
That's amazing. It's amazing.
Crazy. And then another time he drew me this picture of my of my grandpa, and it said, "I'm sorry that Grampy died, but this might help you." And then it says, "Good job, mom. I'm proud of you."
Oh, God. How old was he then?
And he was probably like, yeah, around the same age, like 5 or 6.
Oh my God. And what made him? I mean, we know what made him.
Yeah.
And did he say, like, I don't know, I just thought
Yeah,
you
he
were
was like, "I just thought you would," but, like, "I'm proud of you." Like, he would never,
at
like,
the
he right? Like, "Good job, mom, I'm proud of you." For my son would never say that.
oh my gosh. That is
Yeah.
amazing. Those are amazing stories.
Really, really amazing.
And then do you have, yeah, like tell us about your angel number. Like, do you see synchronicity
I
numbers?
see angel numbers all the time, and I'm not really good at knowing. Are you good, like, at knowing what the specific numbers mean? To me, it's always just like, "Oh, I'm on the right track," or, "Oh, my angels are with me." Like, it gives me peace, but I
Yeah,
don't know, like, what if I see 333 compared to 555, like, what those.
I think I just kind of, I have like my angel numbers that I know mean some. I only notice like the ones that I
Oh, so you have, like, specific ones.
yeah, specific. So like if I'm, driving and like I always look at what my thought was and then I see the number and I'm like, okay, so I don't do it with all the numbers.
Right. But it's like a validation for you,
Yeah.
kind of.
It's like
Mhm.
yeah, like a communication that I know means something.
That means something, yeah.
And I just kept seeing those specific sequences over and over and over for so long that I knew that it meant
Right.
something. So yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's been really an amazing journey that I never thought would end up here. you know, like to start from just being real. I just knew I was unhappy. And I never in my wildest dreams would imagine that it would lead to this. And I want to talk just a little bit about fear because
Yes, please.
that for me was one of the biggest things that for a long time kept me from discovering my gift. I was scared,
Scared of the gift or just scared of going?
scared of the gift, scared that it was maybe not okay in the Christian community, scared that I was going to see a spirit, like, that it would actually be scary, that it might actually be scary hearing from the other side. And so a lot of fear came up that I had to work with, which doing the inner child work helped a lot with the fears. And then even after, like after I finished the Angel Reiki school, and I know I can do this, and I've worked on all these volunteers and all of this stuff, I had this fear of like announcing it or like letting it be known or like putting myself out here in that way because especially I'm an attorney, like that was my job, like I was
So left brain.
attorney
What?
and and yeah, total left brain logical and left all of that to
Yeah.
follow my husband overseas. And I I could like literally hear the eyes rolling in all of my all of my friends from law school, all of like, oh God, she thinks she's a medium now. I could hear
Yeah. Uh-huh.
all of it. But finally it got to a place where it was like it was going to be more painful to not be authentic and to not share this. And the goal is to help people, right? And the goal is to continue this healing. Like I know how much better I feel.
I was just gonna say your light is brighter because you know what it did for you, so you want to help
You
others.
want to help others. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you want, I know how unhappy I was
Yes.
and how content I am now. And you want that for people. You
Yeah.
can see that they're unhappy. You can see that they're suffering and you want to say like, there's another way and you want to help them. And so I mean, it was going to be more painful to live in that lie than
Yeah.
to just say like, oh, screw it. If people think I'm crazy, they think I'm crazy. I'll own my crazy. And
And that I'm sure you've felt this way too, but I know from myself and just hearing other people, I know Julie said this, but a lot of times when you have your awakening, there are some dark periods as well. People think, oh my God, they're spiritual and they just like don't get bothered anymore or
no.
this journey. So it's not like people are going to have one angel experience or one thing and they're just going to be never having any pain or
No, of course, of course. Yeah, you
yeah.
still have your dark nights of the soul and
Yeah, dark night. Yes.
you still have your pain and you still get triggered and you still get annoyed and you still have those days. I think that you just are better equipped. You have more tools now, right?
And you can just ask the angels, right?
You can ask your angel team. Yeah, yeah. And you can ask your angel team and you have more forgiveness for yourself when you do have those days, You
Yeah.
remember like, oh,
And
yeah.
do you have like any feelings when like angels are around you or like do you feel like, you can, feel like the yumminess or like, it's something in you where you just have a connection where feel.
So I like to ask my spirit team for signs. I love to do that. I love to ask them for signs and
Specific or you let them.
I will ask for specific lots of times.
Oh,
Just this summer, I was wanting to do this Akashic record healing thing, and I was nervous. I don't know. I was nervous, and I was like, do I want to do this? Do I not want to do this? I feel like it could be really healing, but also, do I want to open up this can of worms type thing?
right.
And I was going back and forth. And so finally, I was just like, okay, spirit team. here's the deal. If I am supposed to do this, if this is in my best interest, then tomorrow I want to see butterflies. Like that's my sign. I want to see butterflies. And yeah, so then the next day, I get up and honestly, I'd forgotten that I had done
Of course.
all of that. I wasn't looking for butterflies. I completely forgotten that I had all this. And
Yeah.
sometimes I teach kids English in China. That's like another job I do. And I'm sure a lot of the listeners have heard of VIP Kid. A lot of the listeners probably work for VIP Kid. They employ people everywhere. And so I was in America at this time. So you have to wake up very early because the kids are in China. And so my first student showed me a picture of a butterfly she drew. And I was like, okay, okay. And then that jogged my mind immediately, like, oh, okay. And then my second student was singing a song about a butterfly. Like,
Oh my
come on, in English. Yes.
God. Okay.
Okay. And then throughout that day, I just kept seeing butterflies everywhere. And I was like, okay,
So you did it.
so I did it. Yeah, I did it. And it was amazing. It was healing. It was,
Oh my God. That is an awesome story.
it was wonderful.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
So don't be scared to ask your team
Right.
signs, right?
Yeah. Yes, that's such a good thing to tell people. Oh my God, that's really specific.
That one was really specific. That doesn't
Yeah.
always happen, but that one blew my mind. And
The important things you'll ask, like especially really important.
especially and ones where I'm really torn on
Right.
because there's a difference between lots of times I feel what I need to do. I know what I need to do, but I don't want to.
Of course.
I don't ask for signs in that case. Like
right.
yeah,
Of course.
it's like when I really am torn. Like wait, yeah,
Don't know. Okay.
I really don't
That's
know.
good too.
Yeah,
That's
because I'm not. Because lots of times, I'm sure you know too, where you're like,
Yeah.
you know what you need to do, you just don't want to do it.
Of course. No, I get it. But
Yeah.
the times, yeah, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. That's any other like before we go, like something unique. I mean, those are like mine. It's
I think
okay.
those are my best ones. I mean, I feel like I have little winks all the time. I'm sure you
Right.
feel the
Yeah.
same. And the more you
Yeah.
get and connect, the more you connect with your angels and your loved ones, and the more I always think, I went through all of this. I'm 42 and I went through the majority of my life, like pushing through and trying to figure it out on my own, not realizing I had all of these resources on the other side, these incredibly powerful resources.
That's right.
And I think like, oh my goodness. And I mean, I got parking spots, like the littlest things.
Right.
I talked about everything. Every time I lose something, every time, yeah. And I always think like all these years where I was just like blindly trying to push through on my own will,
Yes. Oh my God.
you know?
That's beautiful. That is an amazing story. Like everything that you said. And that's sure really inspiring for people, especially, people who don't know like how to maybe they want to get started and they don't know like
Yeah, like where to start, or they're waiting for some big awakening.
yes, yes, or being worried about what other people think, like in
Yes. Yes.
your former career. So that is awesome, and I'm sure people are gonna love hearing this.
I hope so. And hopefully it will be helpful, especially just, for me, the awakenings started coming through with the inner child work and
Yeah.
the healing and the ancestral wounds and all of that stuff is really
Willing to go there.
was willing to go there. Honestly, the universe made it where I didn't have a choice. That's what I mean when I say the universe is always for you. It's not always for your pleasure.
Right.
It's for your growth. It's not for your comfort. It's for your growth. And I got to a place where I literally couldn't keep going the way I was going, and something had to give. And so, and I think for me, the universe often comes through in that way. And it's only when I'm out of the dark night of the soul
Yeah.
that I can then go back and reflect like, oh, that was actually the most loving way for me to learn that lesson. It didn't feel like it when I was in it,
Yeah.
but afterwards I recognized like, oh, but that was actually the gentlest way that I could learn that lesson
Right. And learn it and not avoid it.
and not avoid it.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Thank you for being so open. I mean, wow. Thank you.
Yeah, right? Well, I said I own my crazy.
Yeah. Well, more than half the battle.
So true. So true. And thank you for interviewing me, Erica.
And it was very fun and very uplifting. So thank you for inspiring me.
Thank you. Thank you.
Beautiful souls, if you enjoyed today's episode, please tell your people about it and share it on your social accounts. Friends, we're truly here to serve you. When I went through my spiritual awakening, there wasn't one book I could read or one place I could go to for all of the answers. I really had to piece them together myself. So, what I did for you was create programs that I wish I had when I was awakening. For those who are seeking these same answers, I created a program called the Angel Membership with so many benefits. It walks you through 12 months of spiritual awakening with your angels and helps you to awaken fully yourself. You see, awakening isn't a one and done thing. There is a process to awakening, and this 12-month program walks you through it alongside your angels. In the angel membership, you also get access to a small group of peers to go through this experience with you. You get live access to me twice a month and so much more. For those who want to serve humanity by working as healers themselves, but don't know what their gifts are or where to start, I developed my Angel Reiki School, which opens you to all of your God-given spiritual gifts, teaches you how to use them and how to start a business for yourself. Students who go through both my Angel Reiki School and Angel Membership program for at least 1 year are eligible to apply to be a healer in my online Angel Wellness Center and work alongside me. Friends, I touch on all of this and teach you how to connect with your angels in my new book titled Angels and Awakening. Yep, just like this podcast. The book is available for pre-sale starting September 9th, 2021 on Amazon. Friends, your support helps me produce this podcast. Thank you so much for being our angels by listening, sharing, and supporting this show. When you leave a 5-star positive review, I enter your name into a monthly drawing to win a free session with me or an Angel Reiki School student. This month's winner is in the show notes. Now, here is a mini Angel Reiki meditation and visualization with your angels to help you lift your vibration and keep it that way the rest of the day. Friends, I want you to start by taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. I want you to see yourself surrounded by angels. I want you to feel their warm, radiant, loving presence. And I want you to see yourself, it's December 15th, 2021. I want you to see yourself looking healthy, feeling healthy, mind, body, and soul. I want you to go inward and feel that you're so proud of yourself and all that you've been through, all that you've done, all that you've accomplished in 2021. And you're enthusiastically looking forward to 2022. Friends, I want you to connect with God, universe, source energy, and just take a moment to give thanks. Give thanks and gratitude for all of the blessings that have come your way and all of the blessings that you stand here right now in faith, knowing that they're on their way to you. Friend, as I lead you in this, your angels want you to ask God, Universe Source, to show you what it wants for you in your life. See the big picture of what God, Universe Source wants for you. I want you to pause and just allow the words, visions, feelings, or knowingness to come to you. And friend, when you connect with the other side, they will only give you positive, loving messages. So just take that moment right now. What is it that God, Universe, Source wants for you in your life? Allow yourself to be open to it. Allow yourself to see it, hear it, feel it. Get a knowingness of it. And now your angels want you to ask God, Universe, Source, what is the next step I should take? Again, pause and allow the words, visions, feeling, knowingness to come to you, and remember they're only positive, loving messages. What is it that you see, hear, feel, or get a knowingness of when you ask, what is the next step I should take? Friends, I want you to take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I want you to feel all the love that is surrounding you. Feel yourself lovingly surrounded by your angels. Friends, they are guiding you, directing you, protecting you, and they're giving you signs to validate to you that you're not walking this journey alone. Allow yourself to believe the signs that you see. Allow yourself to follow the callings of your heart responsibly with faith. And allow yourself to feel the loving presence of your angels and your loved ones as they guide you each and every day. Friends, I love you. They love you. Open up your heart to all of the unexpected blessings that are on their way to you right now.